Hello fellow Muppets and Beat People, I'm George P. Schneider, the Gentleman Rocker, and welcome to this episode of Modular Monday. In this series I want to show you my adventures into the modular world, with all its side quests like synth DIY, building stuff, new modules, hardware jamming, and whatever may be part of this. Like in this case, as you will see next. So in this episode we'll talk about the focus of my Eurorack system, what I will work on to get there, and how my hardware setup around the Eurorack system will change. So my Eurorack right now is my Mini Brute 2S with the Rack Brute 6U over it. And in it we have the Dreadbox hard disk, the Mutable Instruments Plaids, the Variegate 4 Plus, and besides that I have two do-it-yourself modules that, at least in parts, are here. So the Dreadbox hard disk right now is a big part of my setup, and with big I mean a lot of HP that it takes up, and I will get rid of the hard disk, at least in my Eurorack. I will build a desktop module for it and put it on the desktop as a whole synth voice. I want to make it a really slick case and I'm working on that, but the hard disk will go out of the Eurorack but be part of the setup. Besides that, as I said, I have two DIY modules that all the parts should be here. I have to go through the parts and take a good look before I start building it. The first one is the Drum, which is a 3 oscillator drum voice which produces one sound. So you can trigger it and it will trigger the 3 oscillators with the setup you did. And it will be in addition to my IRA EFX modules and my drum patches. So I will have a kick, snare and hi-hat in my 3 IRA EFX modules in my C64 case, and the Drum with its 3 oscillator setup for a more versatile drumish sound. The other module is the Micro Ornaments and Crime, and it describes itself as a polymorphic CV generator. And for me it's a kind of Swiss Army knife for Eurorack, as it can generate CV gate with various programs that run on it, which will be a nice addition to my setup and the focus I will take it to. And speaking of focus, what will I focus the setup on? Well, basically I want to have a setup that can do some self-generating patches, and in addition I will have stuff that is able to do some sound work, so I can use contact microphones and stuff like that to build some soundscapes, something that I can't do with my normal setup at first. So all the sound modules in there should do sounds that are not the normal subtractive synthesis, and bring something else to the plate. So I've ordered like 2 or 3 months ago, I guess, the Coma Electronics Field Kit Effects, which is a Eurorack compatible desktop effects collection. It has spring reverb with a tank, it has a looper, mixer, some generative stuff. So it's a little package of effects. It will be a playing field for this organic sound generative stuff. And I have some ideas how to use it and set it up. One of that is the base for my old C64 case, which is a wooden frame basically that I will repurpose for something else, but that will be in a later episode. But yeah, the focus will be effects, self-generating, and sounds that are not the normal subtractive synthesis. So in addition to get my setup to a place where I want it to be, I will get the Mutable Instruments marbles, which is a kind of CV and gate generator that is both chaotic but in a manageable way. But then again, it can be restrained. You can sample the CV and gate signals that you do and loop them. And yeah, then add a little bit of randomness to it. And that's basically what I will go for. Some loops that has random elements. So if they loop, they not all the time all the same. And that's something why I got the Variegate 4+, for instance, because you can build some 8-step loops and have some probability steps in it that only fire how often in a percentage you want. And besides having other sounds, I want to have this analog sounding bass and synth lines that I already have in my setup, but I will switch the hardware for the Behringer Neutron. It has this big patch bass, so I can patch it in my Eurorack to use as a voice or use the delay, the built-in, the filters for some generative stuff. But I can also use it via MIDI for my double Trinity setup, which is the circuit monostation and the peak together with the TB03, TR08 and TR09. And yeah, the Neutron will replace some hardware. We will get into that, but in a way that is more versatile for me. It's easier to use and it can plug into my Eurorack. So as I said, I will flip some hardware, and yeah, in the next minutes I will tell you what I will flip and why and for what, or if there's no replacement, then you'll also know. But yeah, here's what and why. So the first thing I will get rid of is the Roland SE02. It's a really cool monosynth, really nice sound. You have these presets and everything, but for me it's really overwhelming. You can do too much to learn it, and yeah, what I do most of the time is just choose a preset and let it play, and it's way too big to just use it as a preset player. And yeah, I will flip it for the Neutron. So first of all, the Neutron is a smaller setup, which is more accessible in a way, and you have to assess it because there are no presets, the same that I have with my Mini Brute. And yeah, you have this big patch bay to CV everything. The SE02 also has CV and gate and one CV for the filter, I guess, but nothing more. Why should I use this voice? Of course it has other sounds, but as I said, I use it basically as a preset player. Yeah, I will use it as an additional or doubled voice for the monostation or the circuit, and that's the same spot that the SE02 would have. So one of them has to go, and as I want to have the Neutron for my Eurorack, the SE02 has to go. The next piece of hardware I will get rid of, or try to get rid of, try to sell, is the Roland MX1. It's a cool mixer. The step gate effect stuff is nice. It works good with the IRA EFX or the boutique stuff, but the main use would be with a DAW, and I will not use a DAW in a way that it would make sense to keep that mixer. I want to use the DAW only to record my stuff, mix it and master it, nothing more. And for that, the MX1 is way too much. I have a 10-channel tape recorder mixer that I get some cables for and that I will use. And later on I will probably get a bigger mixing desk where I can record every channel to its own channel on my DAW. When I want to record my song, I will get every channel and can master it in the DAW. There's no need right now for the MX1, so another one that will go away. So I got the Roland D05 as kind of replacement for the Korg M1 sounds that I use in Gadget. And as I said, I wanted to go to a DAW setup where I put everything over MIDI, play it over MIDI and build everything on the PC, but I will not go there. I can use Gadget way too good to switch to another setup, learn everything again, and my jamming stuff will not work with a DAW setup, so there's really no need for that. I got the hardware, as I said, it sounds cool, and yeah, it is a cool synth, but not for me. I will not use it in its form with the sequencer built in, and I will not use it connected via MIDI or USB, so there's no need for that, so I can sell it. Yeah, the Volca kick is something special. It's a kick synthesizer, so it synthesizes bass, sub-bass, kick sound, but I can do that in my Modular. I can do it with some of my analog synthesizers. I don't use the sequencer. I wanted to have a setup where everything has its own sequencer, but it's way too fiddly. And yeah, if you only have Volcas, it would make sense. If you only have boutiques, it would probably make sense, but my main jamming part, sequencer heart, is the circuit. So there's no need for the kick. And as I said, if I want to build an analog kick from the ground up, I have the drum that will probably do something in this vein. I have analog synthesizers that can do it, so there's no need for that. And I didn't use it in the last year or so, just standing there, so I will sell it. The same goes for the MPX16, which is a sample player basically. It has no sequencer, stuff like that. I had it sequenced from my BeatStep Pro, which worked fine, but I got rid of the BeatStep, so I have no sequencer to play it. I could sequence it from something else, but as I said, I didn't use it the last year too, like the Volca kick. And yeah, before it gets dusty in my studio, I will sell it. So yeah, that was a little rundown about the hardware I want to get or have ordered and stuff I will get rid of and why. Besides the MPX16, all of the stuff does the work that it's supposed to do in a really good way. The MPX16 is sometimes a little bit problematic because it has really long load times. But if you have one kit that you want to fire off, you can load it and use it. So it's usable, but yeah, that's why I get rid of this stuff. In the next week, I will probably start doing some DIY building, probably the drum. And yeah, maybe the Coma field kit effects will be here to have a first brief look at. Till then, rock on. I see you later. Bye.